Oh, here we are on the Yukon River, just near Whitehorse, Yukon. What you see ahead of you is pretty much the way it would look in 1898, in June of 1898. On a good day you had the same kind of weather. The big difference would be that instead of dead silence like we have now, you'd have hundreds of boats surrounding us, and in that flat area right ahead of us was Canyon City. That was where the Northwest Mounted Police would stop every boat that came down the river, headed for the Klondike goldfields, and they'd have to prove that they could navigate the river ahead, the canyon ahead. Otherwise, they would have to put their boats and freight on one of the two railways, log railways that went around the canyon. So from here, the canyon is only a couple of miles ahead, and we're going to power up here and show you what a real good run through the canyons looks like. Canyon City now, they do regular guided hikes down here. There's an interpreter, and they show you the log foundations and such that are still there. There's archaeological digs that go on quite often there. Quite a popular hiking trail. This section of the Yukon River is certainly Yukon at its finest, especially on a day like this. Amazing stuff. Now, we came up through the canyon about half an hour ago. It's quite a thrilling ride coming up the river. We've just got a little 6-horsepower motor on this boat. It's a little underpowered for running the canyon, but obviously if it was successful, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So it should be good fun going back down through it. It's nice to be on a river that is still so pure that you can actually just stick a cup in the river here and drink it. There's no pollution, no nothing in the river at this point. We're walking on the cliffs directly ahead. A few minutes ago we saw an otter swimming along just beside the boat. The basalt cliffs here, a little bit of an indication of what we're going to be going through in Miles Canyon itself. At this point we're about 70 miles from Bennett City, which was where most of the Klondike stampeders built their boats. At that point they had hiked across either the White Pass or in most cases the Chilkoot Trail and built their boats from the trees that were standing in the area. And then from there it was a fairly easy ride right down to the Klondike goldfields. This part ahead was one of the two rough spots, the other one being Five Finger Rapids up at Carmax. And just ahead we can see the gates of Miles Canyon. And that's where it gets exciting. I'll just get a picture of my niece Bobby, my captain for the day, my navigator. I've got that camera set on a super wide angle, 18mm, so you can get an idea of just how interesting this canyon is. You don't see small boats running here very often. Even for a boat with high horsepower, this is quite an adventure to go through here. That's the Robert Lowe suspension bridge ahead of us. It's built across here in the 1920s. This is one of the must-sees for tourists. Everybody comes to Miles Canyon. And I think you can already see why. Very impressive. Even more so from this angle. Nice quiet ride. It was a very noisy ride going up the river, fighting this current. You can see it's quite extreme. The water level used to be way higher, lower than this before the power dam was built at Whitehorse in 1958. Raised the water level, I would say about 10 feet, so quite an extreme difference. On the bare hill directly ahead of us is a viewing point for the Miles Canyon Road. And most tour buses that come into Whitehorse stop up there for a few minutes to give people a look at Miles Canyon from that perspective. But not many people actually come down to the canyon. For buses, it's not very easy to get turned around down here. Pretty interesting whirlpools down this spot, as Bobby just found out. That base all great. And there's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police ahead of us. They've got two of the boats out patrolling the river this weekend, the Canada Day weekend. It's always nice to see the RCMP out here, making sure everybody stays safe. Or maybe they're just out goofing around on a day like this. river starts to open up into Schwatka Lake, which is the lake that's formed by the power dam. Well, there's Schwatka Lake.